I remember all my life raining down as cold as ice. Shadows of a man, a face through a window, crying in the night. But night moves in the morning, just another day. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is the magic of Barry Manilow playing behind me. And no, this is not a tribute to Bob Ryder. Barry is in the background to calm my nerves, soothe my nerves, lower my blood pressure as I'm about to cut a rant that may give me a heart attack live on this very show. I even have a brown paper bag in case I hyperventilate. I'm going to stop and I'm going to do this. Now, this rant has been inside of me for 2 days now, and I knew there would be a time and a place for it. Why? Because the weekend was not the right time for the rant. And I'm going to be honest with you. I am embarrassed by those in the wrestling business and the fans of the wrestling business who spent their time over the weekend going back and forth in a trivial, frivolous, immature, childish rant about whether wrestling was real or fake in the wake of the passing of the great Rowdy Roddy Piper, the man that paved the way for all of us to make a living in this business. And every wrestling fan who ever enjoyed wrestling can thank Roddy Piper. 2 days! We could not go 2 days with showing our respect to Roddy and his family in mourning this loss the way we should have. But regardless of that, what's over is done. Let's now talk about the situation at hand that caused the stir over the weekend. But before I get into that, I want to say this first and foremost. What I'm about to say is going to be very difficult for me because I'm walking a tightrope here. Because I have some friends in the business who are going to agree with me and some friends who are not going to agree with me. But let me make one thing perfectly clear. We are all entitled to our opinions. As different human beings, we all have different opinions. Now, I'm going to respect your opinion, even though you may not agree with me. If you don't respect my opinion and you decide to make it personal, well, then that's on you. And the fact of the matter is, you were never my friend in the first place. So if I hurt anybody's feelings, I want to apologize right now. Secondly, I want to say this as well. If it were not for all the men, there would have been no Vince Russo. There wouldn't have been this roof over my head. There wouldn't have been this unbelievable office that I'm sitting in right now. That was because of all the men and women who put their bodies and their livelihoods on the line every single night. Nobody knows that better than me, Vince Russo. So I want to make that clear. I want to make it straight. Thank you to each and every one of you. Now, really lose their minds over is when you refer to wrestling as fake. And I got to tell you, I've done that in the past. I've called them fake wrestling matches, fake fights. I've referred to it as fake. But I promise, going forward, I will never use that word fake again. As a matter of fact, if I do, this is what I'm going to do. I got props with me today. To wrestling as fake going forward, I'm going to take a good and plenty and I'm going to put it in my fake wrestling jaw like this. when that jar becomes full, I'm going to send it out individually to all the wrestlers and all the fans. Gentlemen, I'm here to tell you that it's not, and I will explain myself in a minute. But let me also say this. If anybody has heat with anybody, should the heat really be with Dana White, who is a competitor from UFC, a competitor to the WWE, saying whatever he has to say to get UFC buys or people to watch the pay-per-view? Should the blame be put there? And the reason why I asked that question is, listen, it was 20 years ago when Vince McMahon publicly stated that professional wrestling was sports entertainment, so he can get around various athletic commissions in the United States. So Vince himself, the father, the creator of professional wrestling, publicly went out on the main stage and said wrestling is entertainment, therefore wrestling is fake. Now, I got to tell you, with all due respect, I saw a beautiful letter that Seth Rollins wrote aimed at Dana White pertaining to his comments about, wrestling and the F word. And I got to tell you, listen, even though, I give you credit, Seth, it was very well written. The fact of the matter is, should you be having that conversation with Dana White or should you be having the conversation with Vince McMahon? It's getting old. And listen, I'm not going to say it anymore. This is what I'm going to substitute for the F word if it's okay for somebody, with everybody. Choreographed fights for your entertainment pleasure. That's what I'm going to refer to it as we go forward. Choreographed fights for your entertainment pleasure. Now let me say this. This is why I have a good indication that the actual fights are choreographed. I spent a good 20 years in 3 locker rooms of major wrestling corporations where many a night I would sit down with the wrestlers. We would talk about the beginning of the match, how the match would end, and they would fill in all the blanks in between. So in other words, the match was choreographed fight for your entertainment. The fight was not real. Now, I think here's where the misunderstanding comes. Do people get hurt for real in professional wrestling matches? The answer to that question is yes, they do. I myself partook in a few wrestling matches. I myself suffered a few concussions when I got in the ring. My very first match at the Phillips Arena in Atlanta, Georgia, in a steel cage with Ric Flair, early on into that match, I suffered. Did not make the match real. It was still a fake fight. It was still a choreographed fight for your entertainment pleasure. The fact that I got hurt did not make the fight real. Let me try to break it down for you in another way that you might understand. I'm a big Sylvester Stallone fan, and it's documented that in Rocky, he hurt Sylvester Stallone for real in the fighting sequences. Well, let's enjoy this for a second, shall we? There you are. Looking at the same as you did when I saw you. Okay, now let me get back to what I was saying. So therefore, because Sylvester Stallone was hurt for real in the filming of Rocky IV, does that now make the fight between Rocky and Drago in Rocky IV real? Is that fight now real because Sylvester Stallone really got hurt during matches in professional wrestling. But let's face it, guys, you're trained as wrestlers to protect yourselves and protect your opponents. Once in a while, there's a mishap in the ring. Somebody does something wrong. Somebody gets hurt. It happens all the time. Some injuries are more serious than others, but that doesn't make the fight real. The fight is still a choreographed fight for your entertainment pleasure. Now, there's another reason why people throw around the word fake. And Disco Inferno, I might add, had the balls to point this out on Twitter yesterday. When we're sitting there, it looks really bad and fake. Case in point, in 2015, how many times during the course of a 3-hour show are we going to witness a missed clothesline by 15 feet, so written all over it? How many times are we going to see a guy stand helplessly in a corner while the other guy climbs to the second rope and proceeds to punch him in the face 15 times? Now, whose fault is that? Is that my fault? Not stepping up their game and not thinking outside of the box and not thinking of different ways to portray professional wrestling in 2015, not like it's 1975. You want to talk about Roddy Piper? I never, ever saw Roddy Piper in a bad match. I never witnessed Roddy Piper. Okay, so that's number one. Agents, wrestlers, be at the top of your game. Think of different ways to do things in 2015 so to the people sitting at home, it won't reek like a choreographed fight for your entertainment purposes. Here's the second thing you can do. Since everybody seems hell-bent on taking the entertainment out of wrestling and having 20-minute wrestling matches with flip-flop and flying, that doesn't mean absolutely anything, right? Since everybody is so hell-bent on that, NXT and all that stuff, Ring of Honor, I got the perfect solution. Make the wrestling real. It's that simple. Take all the entertainment out of it. Go out to the ring and wrestle for real. Let's see what you got. You want wrestling to be real. We don't want entertainment anymore. We don't want anybody calling it the F word. Real simple. Make it real. Do what CM Punk did, and I applaud CM Punk. CM Punk wanted to get into some real fights. He got out of the WWE and he went to UFC. Now he's having real fights. So make up your mind. If you don't want people to call it fake, then fight for real. It's real simple. Go to Vince. Tell Vince, tonight, me and my opponent, we're going out to the ring. We're going to have a real fight, and the best man is going to win. Real simple. So I just gave you a couple of solutions to avoid the F word altogether. Take out the ridiculous missed clotheslines by 18 feet. Take out punching the guy like this without him defending himself in the corner, and all the other corny moves we see week to week to week, and make us believe it again. I believed Roddy Piper. I'll go back and watch every Piper match, and I'll believe everything he does in the ring. There is an art to that. So if you don't want people insulting you, don't put yourself in a position to be insulted. And if you want it to be real, then wrestle for real. It will change. Ladies and gentlemen, there is my rant. I said it. I got it off my chest. Love me, hate me like you usually do. That's not going to stop me from speaking my mind. That's what VinceRussoBrand.com is. That's why I'm doing this. So I no longer have to listen to robots who think they know more than me, but know way less. Trust me. If they didn't know way less, the wrestling business would not be in the hole it's in today. That's why I do this. I don't have to answer to anybody. But you have my word. Going forward, the fake word. This is the last good and plenty I'm putting in the jar. That's it. The last time I said it. The fake word will never be used by measure. There you have it, straight from me to you. I'm telling you right now, I'm sweating like a camel. I stink like a donkey. I need to go take a shower. I need to flip the record over because Barry's done. Barry went through a whole side during that rant. He's done now. That tells me it's time to wrap it up. Like I said, love me, hate me, do whatever you want to do. It's never going to stop me from speaking my opinion. And that's all it is. Thanks for joining me. I really do want you to have a great day. Take care, everybody.